So that's a part of the growth. When you're sitting down with the counselor and myself, we're going to talk to you about where the opportunities are to who are buying your products and services.
Right.
A lot of times, I just did a meeting with FEMA yesterday, right? And I educated them on this program here.
Yeah.
A lot of government agencies will come to an Apex Accelerator directly because they know our businesses are registered, and certified, and they have technical expertise advisory to help them understand how to do business with them.
Right.
Because they're not in the business of teaching you how to do business with them. They're in the business of
doing business with
putting out a solicitation and doing business.
Right.
Just need a big bag, a big bag. I'ma get it so fast, I'm so fast. And when I get that money, I'ma make that last. Caribbean currency, we make that money last. We make it last. I just need a big bag, a big bag. I'ma get it fast, get it fast, get it fast. I just need a big bag, big bag. I just need a big bag, big bag.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Caribbean Currency, where Caribbean culture meets financial literacy. I'm Kyle. I'm here with my co-host Redman, and today we have a real special guest. We're here live at the Pressure Spot, by the way. We're in a live recording. Shout out our live audience. Love how you vibe. Shout out the Pressure Spot for making this available. But we have a really good interview today. I'm here with Mr. Frank Dixon of Apex Accelerator Program, National Apex Accelerator Program, and I'm gonna let him pretty much introduce himself and just talk to the people and let them know a little bit about himself and the program.
Thank you guys for that. Love to be here. Love the Pressure Spot. Once again, my name is Frank Dixon, and I am the State Director for the Virgin Islands Apex Accelerator Program. The Apex Accelerator Program is funded by the Department of Defense.
Okay.
And we have a mission to provide businesses with government contracting services, helping you understand how to sell your stuff to the government, win government contracts, get certifications for women, veteran, minorities, hub zone, things of that nature. We provide a 360-degree avenue and approach to helping you win government contracts. We have an office on St. Thomas, one on St. Croix, and a satellite on St. John. So thanks again. Glad to be here.
No problem. Appreciate you coming and making time. So, government contracts, that's a big deal, right? And it could be a little intimidating for like a small business that's just, hey, I just a mom and pop, but I can assist and I could add value to the community if I had a little more funding, if I had, a contract. So what does that process look like getting a small business, mom and pop business, incorporated with your guys to help them get a government contract?
And you're absolutely right. The government, federal and state, has trillions of dollars in money. And what's more important, small businesses, a lot of small businesses take advantage of that. There's an Apex Accelerator Program in every state, Guam, Puerto Rico, and now here in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Prior to coming here, I was a director in Connecticut for 4 years.
Okay.
My business is in Connecticut. We had about 1,000 businesses in the program. They went about $450 million a year.
Oh, wow.
In direct contract and subcontracts.
Okay, nice.
Since being here in the Virgin Islands a little over a year, the businesses here went between $10 to $12 million in federal, subcontract, and some state contracts.
And that's amazing. That's
So
really good.
going back to your point, trillions of dollars is won by businesses. And what's more important for small businesses, sometimes it's easier to get a federal contract before you get a local and state contract.
Right. I got them local and state contracts, it all depends on who you know, and rumor has it.
I stay out of that.
That's politics.
I stay out of that piece. I don't get into the politics.
I hear that.
But we, the Virgin Islands Apex Accelerator, make it easy for you as a business. Once you register on our website at www.viapex.org, you complete your general business application, fill out general information, and then one of the counselors will give you a call, if not me, and we'll walk through your business capacity, capability, and see where you fit, how to sell your products and services.
Gotcha.
A lot of businesses will ask me, well, Frank, what are they buying here in the Virgin Islands? And I'll say, you're asking the wrong question. how do I help you sell your products? and
Right.
services? Government agencies buy everything. Everything from administrative services, legal services, general contract services, audio video services, event planning, anything you can think of, government entities, federal or state, buy it. And I help you position yourself to do that. It's absolutely free.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's amazing.
So can you give me some, well, you already gave some examples, but what I really wanted to ask was, with your program, I'm guessing it's a step-by-step process. Even with filling out the application part, you get assistance in how to fill out the application. Because I know in some instances and in different arenas, you fill out the application wrong, you just get rejected, right? So I want to know if that's what your agency helps every step of the way to assist in getting that contract.
And we do. So let's take the word application out
Okay.
and use database.
Okay.
Because now just about everything you're registering in a database.
Right.
Which technically it's an application
Application.
on the database.
Right.
So to do business in the federal space, you need to be in the System for Awards Management, SAM.gov.
The SAMs, yes.
To even if you're a nonprofit, even get a grant, you have to be in SAM.gov. So we assist you understand how to create your profile, walk you through the step-by-step, what answers to answer, what questions to answer, yes, no, does it apply to you? Some businesses will say, Frank, it took me 3 days to register in SAM.gov. Coming through with us, we'll do it with you in like an hour and 10 minutes. Because I know the questions you should answer and you shouldn't answer. Also the ones you might answer wrong. So we help you through all of those. Any veterans getting their veteran certification, have a veteran business.
Okay.
Women getting their certifications, they have a woman-owned certified business.
So certifications, like if I'm a veteran and I just happen to be a veteran and I happen to have a business.
Right.
In order to get government contracts, you can't just show up and tell them like, hey, I'm just a veteran. You have to get certified.
So, correct.
Okay.
So once you go into System for Awards Management and register, it's going to ask you a series of questions. It's going to ask you your demographic questions, your gender, ethnicity, veteran status, things of that nature. Now, you can mark veteran, and it also say veteran-owned small business. It also say service disabled veteran-owned small business. So you don't want to check veteran-owned small business or service disabled veteran-owned small business because that's an actual certification.
Right.
And once you get those certifications, then you update your SAM to say, I'm a veteran-owned small business certification.
Gotcha.
And that's one of the ways when you're registering in the federal space, we help you check the right
Boxes.
buttons.
I got
So,
you.
but we do help you go into that application, walk you through which documents you need. You might need your DD-214, your business organization, business licenses, whatever paperwork we need you. We tell you what you need, help you upload it, and walk you through the process. And we also have back doors that we can actually call these agencies to check on your application process.
Okay.
And maybe escalate it a little bit.
Is Sam's and Dunn's number the same thing? Is that the same thing or that it's a difference?
It's a different.
Can you explain the difference?
Right. SAM.gov is the actual database the federal government uses for you to apply to do business or go after grants with the federal government or
right.
get any
Okay.
small business certifications. Dunn's, your Dun and Bradstreet's number
Okay.
is what you register your business as far as tracking your business
Okay.
to sort of verify that you are a registered business in a state.
Okay.
Historically, you needed a Dunn's to register in SAM.gov.
Right.
They've since gotten rid of that,
How long ago?
about a year ago.
About a year ago. That's why I
Now-
asked.
Right.
Right? But thank you for that
Yeah.
information.
Now SAM.gov issues a UEI number.
Okay.
Unique Entity Identifier number, which is specific to your business and your business address, which is a bit challenging at
Yeah,
times
yeah,
when I'm
yeah.
registered business
Yeah,
in the
man.
Virgin Islands because
Because you're a lot of, and that's another thing. 'Cause it has to be a physical, right? And then some of these street addresses, you don't get no mail there.
correct.
Right? And so the mail goes to the PO box, and then you can't use a PO box on your application. It has to be a physical.
Exactly.
So how do you guys
Yeah, what's
bypass that?
yeah, what's the workaround?
Yeah.
The workaround is have a physical address.
I have a physical address, right? Salty, not
then you
fried,
got the
nada. You can look
workaround
for me
here.
if you want, right? So then explain that part to me, because I have a
Your
physical
home address could be your physical address.
Okay, cool. Okay, we put that on the database.
So let me ask you this, right? You said earlier, you said the federal government needs services for almost everything.
Everything.
So-
And state government.
And state government. We ain't worried about the state right now. We want to focus on the federal. We like the federal. I ain't know nobody. That's a nobody over here. So.
Right.
But so Caribbean Currency, we started as a podcast. Well, first we started as two guys just on Facebook, talking and giving our opinions and
Right.
educating as much. And then we decided to come together and say, you know what? Let's bring your demographic, bring my demographic. We combine them in the middle, and then we give them the information that they need so the community could grow, right? So we decided to start a podcast. Started a podcast, it's doing amazing, and we graduated to a show now. So the vision we have for this is a media company. So being a Caribbean Currency media, what services can we sell to the federal government? What services do you think they would be interested in?
So there are a couple of ways you can do that, depending on the capacity and the size of what you can offer as a media company.
Speak vaguely. Everybody's gonna see this. I want to make sure, we keep,
By the time this episode come out, whatever you tell us will not be
We already
implemented. So
self-approved.
all our other media
Go ahead.
companies over
Okay.
there.
The government does not move that fast.
Okay.
So I'm sure.
Well, speak freely.
So, say for instance, if a government entity or a bigger company win a contract to provide media services for production or producing something that an agency needs, they will outsource that to a business to do that. Either do the production, either do the interviewing, to either do the marketing, things of that nature. So for you to be eligible to take advantage of that, I would help you register your business, make sure you have all the appropriate certifications. I would help you go find those opportunities,
Right.
and then help you understand how to submit for it. Help you read through the proposal, the bid opportunity, and help you understand what your proposal looked like when you were applying for it. So we take you from the beginning to the end. Even if you win the contract,
Yes.
we'll help you read through what your deliverables are.
Okay.
Because what you don't want to do is not deliver on time.
Yes.
And then they deem you as unfit or you didn't produce.
So once that, if that was to happen, say somebody they get a contract and they don't deliver, they deem you as unfit, you didn't produce. That stays on your record, like indefinitely. Is there any
It
way to
will
redeem
show,
yourself?
depending on what the situations are, it will show that they will flag you as someone who didn't deliver on a certain contract. Because contracting officers, before they award contracts again, will go back and look at your past performance history and say, oh,
Yeah.
So depending on why you didn't complete all the deliverables to contract in, it depends.
Right.
So
It could be something out of your,
What's intriguing is that your services is free.
right.
And in the Virgin Islands, nothing is free except for seawater. So I want to know how, I never heard of it until today. Until Kyle and Sonii mentioned it. So I want to know because Virgin Islanders are very good at saying, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Right? And then when somebody else get a bit, it was like, how did this happen? How do you let the public know and where can we find the information that you exist so the public could know that there's a agency that provides assistance for them to get the bids that they need so the business could flourish or even just, have the opportunities that other people have.
One format is coming on shows and podcasts.
I was just
Right.
about to say, bro.
And I ain't
right?
plugging for us. I just
You
want
said
to
it
plug
was-
in.
Yeah. Chop that one
Yeah,
up.
that's
So
it.
we're gonna
Yeah,
chop that
that's
up and
it.
it's gonna go viral.
Right.
That's enough. We need no more.
Yeah.
So, guys, you hear that? That's how we get the water travel coming to
Right.
Caribbean Currency
Exactly.
Podcast. But go ahead.
So the program itself has been around in the United States for close to 50 years.
Okay.
So as of August 2022, I was actually up and running here in the Virgin Islands. But that first year was getting your offices set up, getting your website in place, getting your customer service database up and going, getting staff in place. And all this time I was doing outreach events, speaking at chambers, speaking at Rotary clubs, going on, trying to get in the newspapers.
Yeah.
Right.
So this year, it's going to be more marketing.
Yes.
Right.
Sitting on podcast shows, TV shows, billboards, radio, newspaper.
Yeah.
So that's how we're marketing the show. I have a strategy for that.
Right.
Gotcha.
Marketing the program, I have a strategy
Gotcha.
for that.
Right.
And also word of mouth.
Yes.
Right.
A lot of times the clients that we have will go and tell other business
business,
clients,
yeah.
hey, there's a service here that's
Yeah.
offering government contracting assistance at no cost to
Yeah.
businesses here in the territory.
That's awesome. So we tend to associate federal contracts with disaster. So COVID happens, and then there's a bunch of federal money comes, and that's when people look into like, yo, let's get some of this federal dollars. Hurricane happened, a lot of buildings and stuff get mashed up, and hey, federal government coming in with federal dollars. But what I'm hearing is that we don't have to wait for disasters to be able to get federal contracting opportunities from the government.
Correct.
So those opportunities are, how accessible are they? Like every day, like just on a normal basis.
So that's a part of the growth. When you're sitting down with the counselor and myself,
Right.
we're going to talk to you about where the opportunities are to who are buying your products and services.
Right.
A lot of times, I just did a meeting with FEMA yesterday, right? And I educated them on this program here.
Yeah.
A lot of government agencies will come to an Apex Accelerator directly because they know our businesses
Yes.
are registered,
And ready.
certified,
Uh-huh.
and they have technical expertise, advisory tech,
Right.
to help them
They're well
understand
prepared.
how to do business with them.
Right.
Because they're not in the business of teaching you
Yes.
how
Right.
to do business with them. They're in the business of
Doing business with you.
putting out a solicitation and doing business.
Right.
For the most part, a lot of government, so in the territories, a lot of the money, the federal government might give directly to the territory for types of services. But a lot of times, they have their own solicitations out there.
Yes.
I help you understand how to find them, where they are, and also help you, as a small business, find out who's winning these contracts in your industry and how you market yourself to them.
Well, you know, that's
Because they're
what,
always looking to subcontract work and
Yes.
partners.
Yes. Yes.
that's what I want to find out. Who winning the contracts? Because I ain't winning any. And they say Paulson winning all the time at the Yankees, then sum up.
Well, you're about to start winning soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell your team I'm going to rate one. So we're about
Braves.
to- yeah.
You're interviewing the right program.
Right,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, so we're about to start winning soon. So,
Well, I want to ask too, like, does the business have to be located in the VI to get access to those VI government contracts?
So I'm gonna answer it in two ways. So because there are 96 plus programs around the country and the territories, we try to work with the businesses in our state or in the territory
Right.
for a couple of different reasons. Because we have scorecards that we set up our deliverables to, contract awards, surveys. You don't really want to double count those things.
Yeah.
Also, I could call my colleague in Alaska and say, I got a business trying to go after the state of Alaska contract. What's the process for that? And they'll walk me through it and help you win the contract there. Federal government dollars are not geographically bound. So if you're going to the federal contract in Texas or Maryland, it doesn't matter if you're in the state or not.
yeah,
Right.
State dollars are usually geographically bound.
Right.
gotcha.
And depending on the size and scope of the contract from the state, it could be a company outside of that state that comes in and wins it because no one there has got
Yeah.
the capacity, capability to do the work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they still like companies that are on the ground in that state
Yeah.
that they usually subcontract that work out. to.
Gotcha. Okay. Sweet.
But after you find all of those, who's winning, who's looking for the work, not just agencies will call me, bigger prime contractors will call me and say, Frank, do you have anybody that can do these services? Because they know Apex Accelerated has businesses that are registered with the technical advisory services.
So you guys have like a database of businesses that you've helped that's ready. So when the contractor, the ones that win the contracts, call, they'll be like, hey, I need a subcontractor for this. You have anybody?
We can, yeah.
Yeah.
I get those calls all the time. But I also can help you go into and make sure you're visible in the appropriate databases for them to find you.
Yeah. So
Right.
they even got to call you.
Right.
Yeah.
They know where to go in that database. Even if you get a contract somewhere and you want to say, hey, Frank, I got a contract at another place. I need a small business concern to work with in that state. How do I find them? I help you go. I teach you how to go and find the businesses on the ground in that state It's also registered with the government. The government has obligations. 23 to 25% of all of their contracts are slotted for small businesses.
Okay.
And within that small businesses, they have set aside work just for veteran businesses, just for women businesses, just for A disadvantaged businesses, and just for hub zone businesses.
What's a hub zone?
Hub zone is your historically underutilized business zone that the government set aside for businesses located in that deemed area
Right.
to interject capacity and revenue into that area. The entire U.S. Virgin Islands is classified as a hub zone.
What?
So I push a lot of my clients towards getting hub zone
Hub zone
certification.
services. And hub stands for
Historically underutilized business zone.
So the Virgin Islands is a historically underutilized business zone.
What type
Altogether.
of businesses do you typically see applying for these contracts?
For
Like since you've started here.
Oh, I have businesses, like I said before, out of the last year, my business have won about almost 12 million.
Yeah.
So it's everything from general contracting, IT support, cybersecurity, administrative services, event planning,
Event planning.
You see any t-shirt brands?
apparel. I have some apparel companies. This is what I would tell businesses, and I'll evaluate you and I'll give you an honest assessment. So if you come to me and say, Frank, I'm an apparel, I'm into making t-shirts and whatever. I said, okay, what type, is that all you can do?
Yeah.
Because if the military comes to you and says, I need 5,000 t-shirts, can you produce them? And how fast?
Yeah.
If you tell me 6 years
Yeah.
to produce 5,000
Yeah.
t-shirts
You just spot
or
it.
3,000 t-shirts,
Right.
right? So you gotta take an honest assessment as to what you're actually providing and the capacity of which you can provide it.
And the reason I ask that is because here in the VA, we have a tendency of duplicating businesses, right? So you would have somebody selling t-shirts, and then somebody else decide they're gonna sell t-shirts. By the way, love is my currency t-shirt.
That was just the most shameless plug I ever seen in my
But
life.
nonetheless, but our business, we have a media company. So our business is a full scale. We're making money from different parts of our business, not just a t-shirt brand. So what I'm saying is, not knocking anyone with a t-shirt brand, right? But we need to start developing businesses that could, one, scale, grow, and just sustain the test of time to the point where we could go to these type of services that Frank offering, and we could go to the federal government and say, and when they say what services you provide, we don't say, well, as a lash tech. The government don't want do nobody lashes. You see what I'm saying?
They might
And
be smart though. They might be smart.
You think so?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Because like, look, for me, most of the government employees in the Virgin Islands by technicality are women. So if I could provide a service for my employees to go and get their lashes done at a discount, and I have somebody in the wing, and maybe you could find anything to do with it, right?
I feel
But
it.
I want to ask a different question.
But
Right,
I don't want to
lashes.
seem like, before we switch, I don't want to seem like I knocking
No.
those smaller businesses. What I'm saying is I want us to start thinking bigger. I want us to be like, yo, when we go into these places, we have the capacity to grow and scale and get funding. It's a business that's going to be here for years and years and years to come. Not when the new AI eyelash tech come out and then now you don't have a gig no more because the lashes come in on a piece of paper and you just put them on your eyes.
You're already doing that now.
See? So we have
As
to
long as you
evolve
know
is
it.
what I'm trying. The
You
point
press them
is
on
we
it.
have to evolve.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get at.
So real quick, I want to ask you this, right? So I drive around the island, and no place in the world is perfectly clean, but when you live in a place and you call it paradise, you're kind of looking for it to be not trash along the side of the road, right? Would it be wise for me to have like clean and preem, right? Type business, and even if there's not a government contract out there, to come and get certified with you, so that in the event that they do need a service of keeping the island clean, that I'm already prepared, I'm already there, I'm already in the database, rather than just seeing that they need a contract and then trying to develop a business to get awarded.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that. And I want to make sure everybody understands this. people are selling products and services way before they try to sell them to the government, right? I'm not in the business development business.
Right.
But most profitable businesses are businesses of need
Yes.
and not want.
Yes.
Right.
The want businesses are a whole other marketing level
Yes.
but by big corporations. They make you think you want that.
Yeah.
Right.
Need businesses, things that people need, are actually sustainable.
Right.
Yes.
Now, depending on what business you set up, is a decision you have to make.
Right.
But when you come to me and say, hey, Frank, are there contracts out there for street cleaning or janitorial? Then now we can go into that.
Right.
We can go in that capacity. I tell any business out there, if you're a full business, register in Sam.gov.
Yes.
Go after any certifications you think you can get. Because what you don't want to do is see something and say, oh my God, I can go get that.
Yeah,
and now you
yeah.
got to go through all the administrative
Yes.
pieces.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Everything is moving towards being registered in Sam.gov. A lot of states are requiring you to be in Sam.gov. I know the Virgin Islands, even get your minority business certification here, they want you to be in Sam.gov.
Sam.gov. Yeah.
I just left Connecticut, they want you to be in Sam.gov. Because it's easy for them to bounce off the federal government. And a lot of these states get federal government money,
Right.
which require you to be in Sam.gov
Yeah.
Right.
before they can even give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I advise any business to at bare minimum, register in that system, which every year annually, all you have to do is update it. Because they might ask you one or two different questions.
Right.
Outside of that, getting back to your original question, yes.
Yeah.
Whatever you come up with, I'm here to tell you if anybody's buying it.
Right.
On the other hand, people are always looking, if I want $1 million+ contract, I have a subcontracting clause in it, where I have to have a small business concern as a subcontractor in my plan. At least 23 to 25% of that work. That's why it's so important that you get your certifications, because outside of that 25%, it helps that business also if you are a woman-owned small business, veteran-owned small business, because that larger contract can check off multiple blocks
Nice, yeah.
when they're looking at it. So, and it makes them look better with that agency
Yeah.
who also needs to
Yeah.
fulfill their needs of these certified companies.
Now, is it easier for, and I might know the answer to this, but I want the public to know the answer too, because I don't know if they know. But is it easier for a business, like when we're doing the bidding, is the government looking for people with a business that has more experience doing this versus a business that just started a startup? So is the government saying we're leaning more this way, or is it just like a bid? Like a gamble, I guess.
So some of the general requirements that I
Right.
look for to be a client
Right.
is we require you to have some technical savviness, right? Have an email address, have an internet, have a website, and have sold product and services before.
Right.
I'm not awarding you a contract if you never sold anything.
Exactly.
Right.
Right? So, because these government contracting officers, they're signing on behalf of the government
Right.
to say, I'm signing to say, I'm going to give this business work who's never sold anything before.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and they're also looking at your capacity, your skill set, your certifications, what the requirements are. You might be in business for 15 years, but if I'm in business for 2 years and I've sold and done things with certain certifications and my team's got certain licenses,
Right.
you might be more appealing to that contracting officer to make that decision. Not necessarily how long you've been in business,
Right.
but the quality of work and
Yeah.
what you've done in the past. They take all those things into assessment.
Awesome.
And when I get into growing our clients, I'll tell our client, understand the marketplace you're trying to get into, understand what Department of Energy wants, what FEMA's looking for, what Department of Agriculture is looking for, who makes the decisions. Because the government doesn't award a contract. There's a person in the government that awards a contract.
I got you. Yeah.
So with some of our bigger clients, I'll have them travel to government contract events. Because you're sitting in the room with contracting officers, with heads of agencies.
Yeah.
So it's easy for them to know Frank Dixon, AA compliance company, and just AA compliance company.
Yeah, exactly.
So we work to help you build your entire business acumen, marketing, registration, certification, outreach, everything.
So here in the VA, I'm
The
familiar with
US
some-
VA.
The US VA, sorry. Here in the US VA, we have some local companies that I'm familiar with have gotten government contracts from the local government, completed the work, did it, to their satisfaction, and still ain't get paid yet, right? And that's a local government issue as far as getting paid on time after you completed this work. There's people like waiting on checks, and it is wild. That's not an issue, or is it, with the federal government? Like as far as getting paid for your services.
So the federal government pays pretty quickly.
Okay.
And depending on the type of contract you have, you go into a portal, your wide area workflow portal through the PI system. I won't get into what all the acronyms mean. But depending on your services, you submit your invoices. They review it based on what you're supposed to deliver, and usually within like 30 to 45 days you're paid. Right? So it's a process.
Yeah.
And if you're not submitting, most times people with federal government contracts don't get paid. It's because they did something wrong. Or they didn't submit it properly.
Yeah, so 30, 45 days, huh?
Yeah. Now, if you're a subcontractor,
Yeah.
then it depends.
It depends on the company
The
that's
person who
paying
you're
you.
subcontracting.
Yeah.
That's another story.
So 30 to 45 days, United States Virgin
Country
Islands
days,
government.
Virgin Islands Department. We going federal.
The federal government paying in 30 to 45
30
days.
to 45 days.
Some sponsorship still get some checks for us for this show that we ain't got yet. Okay?
And depending on what type of contract you have,
Right.
the federal government might advance you payment.
Oh, geez. What? An advance?
If depending on the
Oh, okay.
Is there a limit to the number of contracts a business can get?
Well, they're going to ask the question, how can you perform all
All
this
of
work?
these, it gotta make sense, right?
Right, it's got to make sense.
Oh.
Because you might have, let's go back to the topic that you brought up. I have businesses that are corporations, and they own multiple businesses. The corporation might be registered in Sam.gov, and they might win a contract for apparel or general, this contracting or that contracting. But they're submitting for that open bid as the corporation to provide, this business is going to provide the services. And even all those businesses can have a Sam.gov as well, but the corporation owns those businesses.
Yeah.
Right? There are various ways to set that up.
Okay.
Because you might have a company that provides janitorial services and general contracting, and street sweeping.
Right.
They go after all those different contracts.
Okay.
So if you want to build capacity,
Yeah.
I'm not here in the business development game,
Yeah.
even though I know business development.
Yeah.
Right.
If you got 5 or 6 vendors that want to form one corporation and go after it to expand your capacity,
Yeah.
that's something to look at.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll work with you to see if it even works.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's a good point. That's a good question, Sonii, because we know we're gonna have some smart people that's gonna say, hey man, so this apparel business just got funded for 25,000 t-shirts, but the government need 25,000 pants, so they look to create another company, and in that way, the government gonna be like, we haven't seen. You pretty much have to have a track record, right, to show that you've been doing this for some time.
Right, because they're going to ask the capacity.
Yeah.
They're going to ask your capacity to deliver.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that contracting? And I'm going to ask that capacity.
Of course.
Right.
Before you even get to them, you're gonna do all that
Because
screening.
I'm going to do the due diligence to
Yes.
ask you real questions.
Yeah.
Right. If you're making 15 t-shirts a day, and it's just for vendor street sales, what does that even look like? But that's not saying you can't go
Yeah.
get
Upscale to that.
20,000.
Yeah.
Right.
I've had vendors who are in the apparel business who've had people making their material overseas. They got manufacturers overseas. The work come in, they do the printing here, and then they sell it in whatever capacity. But there's something called the Buy America Act, where a certain amount of the product
Has to be made
needs to
here.
be American made.
American made.
But there are some clauses to maybe get around that, depending on what they are.
Okay.
They help you read through those clauses.
Okay. Awesome. I see how you guys provide the value because, again, without this guidance, some small business are just like, hey, I want some type of government contract. This could sound like Chinese to them, from beginning to end. So what you guys are doing is really, really impactful. And the United States Virgin Islands, again, is a historically underserved,
Historically underutilized business.
business zone.
I have another question real quick. as far as like the business name, how important of a factor is that when you're looking at a business getting government contracts? Like, does the government say, well, I don't know, like
They can't be bonnet down a payroll. You know?
That's what. That's
Burn out Babylon.
Yeah.
LLC.
yeah. But no, like seriously.
Yeah.
So, for the most part, federal government doesn't really have a personality.
Right. For the most part.
For the most part.
What about the other part?
So it would behoove you to actually look at these things outside of your immediate box, right? That's a business decision that you make.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you to change your business.
Yeah.
What I will do is say, you know, get rid of the Gmail and the AOL. Have a real business specific email address. Get your website up and going. Because when they look at Gmails, AOLs, Yahoos, it says to them,
Scammer.
not that you can't get, no, not scam.
Oh.
Not that you will not be awarded a contract, but it says, are you ready to play with the big boys?
Right.
Are you ready to play with the big boys?
Yeah.
It's just optics.
Yeah.
They will go to your website and actually look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we talk to you about, have a government tab on it. You might have about us, services, and I'll say put government. Then you put your capability statement in there that we help you put together, your marketing capability statement that we help you use, how to solicit. You might have to put it in some proposals or whatever. But they like that. So they look at it from that standpoint. Not necessarily the name of the business. I think that's a educated decision you need to make for yourself.
The reason I laugh so much because I'm a financial literacy advocate, right? And I have a credit repair business. I'm a credit coach. So when they sign up with me, I'll be like, hey, okay, send me an email and I'll send you this information. Boy, the kind of emails I be getting, bro.
Right.
Get it out from the back. 27 at yahoo.com.
Something you make when they were 15
yeah,
still
bro,
there.
it's still out there. Like, I be like, yo, you want to update this a little bit to like,
VI best dress ever.
type of crazy stuff.
I'll put it this way and try to stay within my government lane.
Yeah.
So just like when I'm, mentoring youth and college kids, and even businesses, people, you're not at 15 who you are at 20. You're not at 20 who you are at 30.
Yeah.
If you're in business for 20 years and you haven't evolved by the way you look or your services or the optics or the perceived growth, then that's something you might need to look into, right? To make it a little bit more appealing, especially when it comes to which market you're trying to get into. Right? That's just marketing 101.
Yeah.
And with the government, it's the same way.
Gotcha.
You want to make these people who are making that decision comfortable they're making the right decision. Right?
Yeah.
Now, what do you believe personally? If that's what you want to stick with, that's up to you.
That's up to you. If it means that much for you to name your own business, fire burn the government,
So
101, and then go ask the government for money, it don't add up. Don't add up.
So being that this is a informative platform, I just want to tell the audience that behoove means in your best interest. I learned that in the military.
Yeah.
Because I know when he said behoove, I was like,
military
you didn't
word.
know what I was. But I got you.
I'm a 10-year Army veteran.
Okay.
No, we both
Yeah,
army,
I just wanted to let her know what behoove
army
means.
affiliates as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Behoove. You know? We got our lieutenant in the building.
I have one more thing I want to touch on, right? Especially since Kyle mentioned, that he's into financial literacy. I'm a mortgage loan officer, and if someone comes to me to buy a home and they're a small business owner, I would have to say to them, okay, show me that you've been in business for 2 years, provide me 2 years tax returns, right? So for a business that's wanting to, come to you and possibly get government contracts, like what's the financial criteria for them? Like, would they have had to been in business for a certain amount of time? Do you have to see that they have a certain amount of assets already, revenue flowing in the business? Like, let's talk to me about, the financial criteria.
So I'm going to answer the financial criteria. I don't collect any financial documents from anyone. Our purpose at the Apex Accelerator around the country is to assist you register in certain databases to be able to go after certain certifications. Some of those certifications require your financial documents, like your 8A or economically disadvantaged women-owned certification, which is another tier to the women-owned certification, because they want to make sure that you're actually disadvantaged economically.
Right.
Right? They don't want you to have $20 million sitting in a 401k somewhere, and you're saying that
Right.
I don't meet I'm below these thresholds, or I don't meet these thresholds. Right? So we don't collect any financial information. What we do is we assist you register these in these databases and get those certifications, which require some financial documentation to make sure that you are at the level of financial credibility that you're saying you are. Right? But some of them saying you can't make over this much money, you can't have this much in assets, because you're not deemed disadvantaged at a certain business. So I hope that answers your questions.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here on the Caribbean Currency podcast, we have a segment on the podcast called Currency Exchange,
Okay.
where we exchange currency. Really talking about, like, currency could be anything. Currency could be love, currency could be money, currency could be knowledge. So we just want to know, what's your most valuable form of currency?
My most valuable form of currency from Apex Accelerator is the value that we're providing to these businesses at no cost to them. The value is your education. The value is the training we're going to provide. The value is the sweat equity we're going to put into helping you register. It's going to hopefully eventually equate into monetary gain, and you winning contracts, which is an investment back into the community.
Yes, yes.
Via taxes that go into what? Your education system, your school system, your infrastructure, whatever that does.
Yes.
So at a certain dollar amount, you're winning contracts because you've never won them before. The more people that are winning, literally your tax dollars, you're investing it back into your community. That's the value that we offer.
Dope. All right, man.
Since you provide the services, free, you help them through the process. How do you get your funding?
I'm funded by the Department of Defense. All the Apex accelerators around the country and the territories are funded by the Department of Defense, administered by the Department of Defense. All funding comes from Congress.
Okay. Yeah. And then
There's a
one
statute in there that says these programs are funded at this amount.
Okay. And then one last question, and then I'm done, I promise. What, like, from the start process to the actual funding process, what's the time frame?
So of what exactly?
So from when they put in their application, so they start the process to get the government contract to funding, like when they actually get paid.
All right. So
Or
let's
to the
take,
bidding process.
right, let's take out the word funding.
Okay.
Right. We're going to say contract award.
Contract, okay.
All right. So here's the process for a business looking to sell their services and products in the government capacity. When you come to the VI Apex Accelerator website, www.viapex.org, you're going to go to the area. It's going to say apply for assistance, and then it's going to have you complete a profile and then fill out your business application. Then myself or one of the counselors will review it and then approve or reject your business based on, did you even give me enough information? You fill out an application and say abcdacme.com, and then that's it. I'm going to reject it because I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Fill out as much as you can, and then I'll review the application, set up a formal meeting with you, because we track our meetings with the clients.
Right.
And then we move forward from there. I evaluate your business type, what services you have, your capacity, your capability, and then we'll look at any registrations you need. Then we'll go after any contracts that might be out there. No one can guarantee the time frame for you to win a contract. Right?
So just to hit it again, so you help the businesses get ready to submit for a contract.
Correct.
Then once they submit, you help them get everything they need to be able to submit and be considered for that contract.
Correct.
What happens after that is between the contracting agency, I guess, and that business, right?
Right. And if you respond to a bid, they send you something back. I tell the client, send that to me so
Yeah.
I can read it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you might think it's saying one thing, but I'm gonna read it
And then
because
it's
I
up
can
in a
read the
different.
government
Yeah.
speak.
Right. You,
Yeah.
you help them navigate that next process.
Just like I've helped veterans get their veteran certification.
Right.
And a part of that is they want to make sure that the veteran, or just like the woman certification, is the highest paid person in that business.
Yeah.
So I had one client where they applied for the veteran certification. The government sent something back saying, pursuant to paragraph 46-12 relates to A, B, C, D, showing you're not at capacity for funding, blah, 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 whatever. The person's like, oh, they rejected me. And I said, no, they just want you to show why you're not the highest paid employee. So we rewrote, we submitted a rationale on why. They weren't the highest paid employee. Within a couple of weeks, they awarded the certification.
So to get that certification, you have to be the highest paid employee. Like, explain that.
So any of these certifications, especially with women and veterans, they want you to be the highest paid employee, technically. But you can show, give a rationale as to why you're not. Some owners don't even take a paycheck. They might take an owner's withdrawal.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So highest paid employee in your own business.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So and
okay.
that's just a way to explain it and get
Yeah.
through that.
Okay.
Because
okay.
there's so much fraud
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
the day
yeah.
with people applying to their own businesses. Or
Right.
They want to make sure you're the one running the day-to-day.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So we just help you understand how to apply for that. One of the biggest reasons veterans don't get their certifications is they can't show that they're the majority owner, especially if you're in a corporation or something like that. If they have any doubts there, then they'll reject it.
Gotcha.
Because they want to make sure you are minimum 51%.
51%.
Hub zone, not necessarily the case. The business needs to be located in a hub zone. Primary operations, 35% of your employees need to be in a hub zone.
Not if you don't have any employees. Not if it's like just
If you live in the hub zone, you are an employee.
employee.
Right,
Gotcha.
right. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
you
None of us
and
live
one
in
or
a hub
two other
zone.
things.
I live in a hub zone. What
Oh, you
you
live-
talking?
okay,
What
okay.
you talking?
Alright.
Yeah, hey, I live in a hub zone.
We live past Got
Yeah, yeah, Big Island's building 12.
Yeah.
Apartment 92.
And
Facts.
the reason I push these certifications is because the government has obligations to award contracts just to businesses with these certifications.
Okay, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I like
So
that.
it would behoove you to get. I don't want to get one more in you.
Super behooves you.
I need.
And we make it easy for you. The biggest challenges most of the time when we're going after these certifications is businesses don't have their documentation. They don't have their audits of incorporation. They don't have their business license. They don't have all types of things.
Yeah,
So you want to make sure you have those things. A veteran can't find their DD 214.
15, yeah.
Right. So you want to make sure that. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I go through the entire list with you, make sure you fully understand what you need before we start the process.
yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. So, one more time, and tell the folks where they could find you, where they could connect with you, how to get in touch with you, because this is real a great value add that's being added to the Virgin Islands community. They set up here in St. Thomas, in St. Croix, and there's a satellite option in St. John also. So, really and truly, guys, business owners, aspiring business owners, this is something we all need to take advantage of and implement these services. So, Mr. Dixon,
And
go ahead.
before you, when you give the address, then like give the other address. You know what I mean? Like past the funeral home, under the bridge, on the corner,
Yeah.
by the
Don't-
building next to the bank.
Don't
Like,
give them a
'cause
1541
the-
Christian
Yeah, I don't know
Ghana.
that.
You know what that is?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay, good.
First of all, and this is the only thing I'm not going to do, is give the physical address.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I drive people to the website.
Okay.
Okay,
You know,
cool.
everything is on the website.
There you go.
And that's
you want
where
100
you-
people showing up to your office knocking on your
Right.
door asking the same question.
They will.
You gonna say, it's okay.
Well, you can't get in anyway. You have to have a code. So, again, thank you guys
Yeah, right.
so much for this platform.
No problem.
What you guys are doing is amazing.
Yeah.
There's no short of options for people to understand the business.
Yeah.
From commercial to visibility.
Yes.
And one of the most important with all the money is government.
Definitely.
So Frank Dixon, the state director for the Virgin Islands Apex Accelerator, and you can reach us at www.viapex.org. And we're here to help you understand how to register properly and sell your products and services to the federal, any state governments.
Dope.
Thank you,
Dope,
Frank.
Dope, dope. Let's get a round of applause for Mr. Frank Dixon, guys. And that is a wrap on this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, guys. And we're going to see you guys on the next episode of Caribbean Currency. Peace.
Just need a big bag, a big bag. I'ma get it so fast, I'm so fast. And when I get that money, I'ma make that last. Caribbean currency, we make that money last. We make it last. I just need a big bag, a big bag. I'ma get it fast.